I call to order this meeting of the Warren County School Board for Thursday, June the 11th, 2015. The first item on the agenda is for the Pledge of Allegiance, so please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on the agenda is to accept or modify the agenda. Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Presentation, Backpack Buddies Grant, Sue Ann Fox.
On behalf of Warren County Public Schools and Sodexo, I would like to present a check for $6,500 to the Warren County Backpacking Program for the summer. If Ms. Nina Barron and Ms. Lori Glasscock will come up and join us. Kathy Bauer and I would like to give this to you for use in the program. And this is an additional $142 that the children of Warren County donated to help out with the program as well. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it very, very much.
Yes, would you like to say something about the program? Let everyone know.
Sure. Wow, I didn't expect that one.
Well,
the Backpack Program is a program that we have started. It started in its first year last summer, and it is to help feed children over the weekend, children who are struggling with hunger in our county and in our town. And last year we served about 225 to 250 children over the summer. And we also put a literacy component in with the program in order to keep them reading over the summer. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful to see the community support that we had from the local fire department, from the school system, and from Sue Ann and Mike Hirsch with Special Services helped us out, guiding us along the way, as well as CCAP and Blue Ridge Opportunities. We couldn't have done everything without them. They were absolutely wonderful. So we're looking forward to the second year and tweaking some things that we knew could use a little tweaking and learning some new things that we can do as well.
still 225 students? Or?
We are at about 200 right now, and we still have some applications straggling in.
Okay.
And this was very important to the school board because they saw the need in the community and made that possible when we were negotiating our contract with Sodexo, that was something that was near and dear to their heart and wanted to make it possible. And Nina had really started to put together all the churches who were doing backpacking programs individually to all the schools and saw the opportunity to all work together to make sure that all the children in Warren County were able to get food. So we thank you both for your tireless work.
We served 12,600 meals last summer in a 10-week period. Wow. Just to let you know what we're...
And I don't have the numbers from the whole school district yet, but Ressie Jeffries alone served 9,900 meals for the winter program. So, wow. And each individual school will have like numbers.
I'd love to see that information when you get it all together.
I will be glad to get it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for thinking of us.
Community participation. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? Okay. Consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Report, staff report. Instructional report, Mr. Drescher.
Good evening. It's nice to see everybody. I'd like to congratulate the retirees. And if I may just say just a couple of words about one retiree. there'll be more to be said later on at an event that may or may not happen next week. But I just would like to say I just appreciate Pam's, your mentorship and your friendship all these years. I don't know how many people know this, but I've literally known Pam my entire career. She was there the day I got hired in Rappahannock County. So for 32 years, she's had to put up with me. So I appreciate that. We have some changes in our central office staff. I just thought I'd like to introduce that. It's official that they're there, but I just wanted to let everyone know that Lisa Rudisil is the Director of Elementary Instruction, and she's here tonight. It's good to see. And thank you. And Alan Fox is making a move, I'm sure, as everyone has heard. He is going to be our Director of Secondary Instruction. We're excited to have him join us. And that kind of opened up something at the middle school, and so we have a new principal there. Bobby Johnston is currently the assistant principal at Warren County High School. He started teaching at Warren County High School, and I think I have this right, in 2002? Yeah, I got it right. Where he taught history and he was a coach. And Bobby has been meeting with staff and working with Alan as part of the transition takes place, and he will start his new role officially July 1st. So we're glad to have Bobby. Next, I'd like to introduce Richard Follett. Richard Follett is a teacher with us at Skyline High School, and he's in an administrative program. And as part of that program, he needs to make a report to the school board. So he is going to come and report on some things happening at Skyline High School.
Thank you very much, Greg. Mrs. McGinnis, Madam Chairman, lady and gentlemen of the school board, thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. I'm here to report on the start-up of the Skyline High School Parent-Teacher-Student Organization, which did get started. Part of my administrative training was to take on a project at the school and see it through to completion. So I asked Andrew Keller if we could have a meeting and asked him what he'd like to see at our school. And after a moment of thought, he said, well, we have tried to get a parent-teacher organization started and it hasn't gotten off the ground. I said, I can do that. So we had our first meeting in September and signed on 9 members. We had two faculty, 1 administrator, 4 parents, and myself. And Mr. Keller very graciously gave us a $150 startup budget. And from that, I'm proud to say, through some efforts, we did concessions at the play, we had a bake sale, different various things. We raised enough money that we were able to give 2 $100 scholarships that we have agreed to do for the next 5 years. One to Ronnie Clifton, graduating senior, and one to Madison Scott, for them to pursue. And we were also able to make a nice parting gift for Mr. Keller and a welcome gift for Mr. Smith, who's coming to be our new principal. And can I pass this around? Sure. I did a little picture. It's a high school and it's got the light on shining inside. And so, after all that activity, we finished up the school year with $100 in our budget. We're $50 down, but we have big plans for next year, and we're going to raise a lot of money and come out in the black, and we're just very excited to have that rolling. We're thinking, so far we've just gone with me being the founder and us having meetings, and I sort of coordinate, but now that I'm finishing up my administrative training, we're going to try and get some officers in place and really make it a little bit more official next year and see it go forward. Now we've already signed on 4 additional PTSO members and gotten the student government involved for next year, so we're very happy. Thank you. So thank you. Any questions, concerns, grievances?
How are you getting the word out to the...
Well, in the 3rd day of registrations last year, I sent a letter home to parents, so I missed the youngest classes. Or I missed the oldest, the 2 oldest, but I've made arrangements with the guidance to send home a letter at the beginning of the school year with every child that's going to be registered in our school, so all the parents in the community will have that included. And then I'll be manning the table, and I think Pam Dyke has agreed to do that with me. I'll be manning the table and trying to get people going in the fall when they come to bring their students to be registered. So
Great.
that's the plan.
I think it's a great idea, but I was wondering the rationale behind adding students to the organization.
Well, just so that they have a voice in some of the projects that we do, and of course anything like deciding a scholarship is going to be an adult committee, but it's just it exists to serve the students in the school, so we thought if we could get the student government involved, it would be one more way to have the students have a voice in the school and have them attend a meeting and so on and so forth. So we're still defining that role. It was a decision we made halfway through the year. Some of our members expressed a concern that we'd like to involve the students, and so we decided to make the jump and become a parent-teacher-student organization. Went online, read some of the models of things that are being done. And since we're kind of a grassroots thing rather than a big flag-waving thing, we just decided it'd be nice to incorporate the students and plan a project, maybe to coincide with the end of the year that we could help with. And we've also agreed to adopt a day for teacher appreciation. We're going to do. And so that's another reason to have the students involved to help with that. We're going to sort of let them spearhead that project. So
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you very much, and thank you, Greg, for the opportunity.
Thinking about our year this year, we've done many wonderful things with our kids and our staff and faculties, and I just wanted to highlight a few of those. And I know I'm going to leave off some of the big stuff we've done, but I don't want to stand here all night. One of the things that happened this year was we received a 3-year grant from Virginia Commonwealth University through their Autism Center for Excellence. And this 3-year grant gives us a full-time consultant that will work with us for the next 3 years. They've been here this year and for the next 2 years, and they'll provide us with training and information to help us with our autism programs. And we're very excited about this. It is helping already. There's been a very intense data collection that's occurred, and then they're going to be working with us, training and coaching on evidence-based practices for students with autism. And we all know that that's a group of students that we're getting more of those students in our schools, and we need to be ready and help them. So we're very excited about this. That's one thing that's happened.
Is that consultant from VCU?
Yes.
Okay. Is
Yep.
it a graduate student or?
Do you know that, Lisa?
She's a professor.
Professor.
Okay.
Should have Lisa tell us.
And
Lisa's
she comes what, every so often for in-services or?
She comes about once a month to consult face-to-face. And then Gina Cornett, who has done a lot with the program, meets with her by phone, and we've Skyped with her, and other ways that we've kept in contact with her between those monthly visits.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
But no training has occurred this year yet, right?
Yes, some training has occurred for those teachers who are going to help be instructional coaches to our teachers who serve students with autism, particularly our self-contained programs first, because that's where all of the students in the classroom are on the autism spectrum. But this summer, actually myself and Carla Scott and Dina Lee and Gina Cornett are getting together to provide training on a broader sense in instructional coaching, so it won't include just the teachers who are participating with the ACIT program, but it will also include our induction coaches who work with our new teachers, and the administrators and teachers who are working with our positive behavior and intervention support grant. So trying to pull all of those resources together. So we have a countywide philosophy and model for coaching, but this has kind of been the impetus for that.
Great.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty neat.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. This past year, we've been working hard on math. We put together a math task force. It included about 65 staff members, teachers from all the schools, administrators, and we divided up into 5 teams that looked at 5 different things regarding math. That's culminating this coming week on June 18th. That group will get together and hear what the plan is, what we're going to be doing moving forward in terms of curriculum work, professional development, so that we can make a difference with our math instruction. And math is our toughest subject, and it's a lot of folks' toughest subject, and we're about making a big difference. So it's been very interesting working with that many people on one thing for a while, so that's been very good. Excuse me. This past year we added AP Art, which is kind of stepping out of the box on our advanced placement classes, and you got to see some of that at one of the board meetings. I did you'll remember you approved AP Physics for this upcoming year, and I'm happy to report there are more students signed up for AP Physics than we had for regular physics. So we're having to look at how we're going to manage those sections. So it's a nice problem to have. So we'll be doing that. We did have a part-time math coach position this year, and we're fortunate to be able to add a full-time math coach position that will help all of our elementary schools in math. So again, on the math piece. And then I don't know if I'm taking Mrs. Sharevko's thunder on this, but we are planning on Mount Vista and incorporating 10th grade. That's in the works. It won't be for next year, but that's in the works. So that's been kind of an exciting thing to plan and talk with. So there's lots of things going on. The final thing I would just say is that a teacher at Hilda Barber, Justin Birchbickler, I think I said that right. He's a fourth grade teacher, young guy, has been doing all kinds of neat stuff. And he, last year, I believe it was, got a grant to incorporate, you ever see those big balls that kids can sit on if they wiggle too much? He got them for everybody in his class. So if you want one, you can use it. You don't have to, but it was kind of neat for him to go out there and do that. It's made a big difference with his behavior. This year,
His behavior?
His behavior. It really helped his behavior in class, students. Thank you. He recently, just this past week, held a Reader's Cafe. Invited many of us from central office to go and participate. Students read, and I think they served food.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they served some good food too. So just kind of a guy, young teacher doing some real neat things with our kids, and kind of a neat model for everybody. So it's kind of a highlight. So, but with that, unless there are any questions, that's my report.
I read a report, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I read a report talking about the kids sitting on these balls and moving and how they learn better when they're in movement. Has he seen anything with his students?
He's a pretty successful teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would be doing it or just all of the things that he does, but I know I certainly would have benefited from that.
Well,
You can see why I
it's hard for a
stand
lot of
here
students
probably.
to sit still all day long.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So, and it's just a way to help that out.
Interesting.
Yes, sir.
When you take Mr. McGinnis as chair, you will no longer be given the instructional reports, is that correct?
Would you like me not?
I was going to count that as one of our successes. Just pass the hourglass to.
Right. I think I've got some
Bruticille
very
and
good
Mr.
support in
Fox.
place. Yeah, I've got some very good support in place. So, yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent report.
I have a couple of things. One thing that you see listed on the agenda is an update on the middle school naming survey, and which I will do. But I have a couple of at least one other thing first. Today was the bid opening for the new middle school, and we received 5 bids, and we opened them this afternoon, and all the bid numbers were recorded for a base bid, an alternative addition 1, which was the modified auditorium, and then the addition 2, which was the platform stage auditorium. And it appears at this point in time, although nothing's been certified, that Shockey was the low bid. And we look forward to having the architects get their financial information, because they have to certify that they do enough business to do this business and that kind of thing, and to do some reference kinds of things. But we are planning on having a
Building committee meeting.
It's good this is my last meeting. Building committee meeting on Tuesday, I think at 1 o'clock is what No. We'll have it another
I have
time?
a conflict with that time.
Okay.
So
Well,
we're looking at.
We'll figure it out. But, and of course, the building committee is a joint responsibility between 2 school board members, 2 members of the board of supervisors, county and administrator, superintendent, and other staff members to talk about what the bids looked like. But I think there were initially 7 firms that were at the pre-bid conference, and 5 of those firms did send in construction bids, so I think it was very good competition. And if any of you would want to see them, Melody has copies of those. We sent a survey on middle school naming, and the 2 questions on the survey were this: would you be in favor of changing the name of the current middle school to Skyline Middle School and naming the new middle school Warren County Middle School? That was question 1. And the second question is, if we retain the Warren County Middle School name for the Luray Avenue facility, what should the new middle school be named? So we've had, as of this morning, I don't know what we have this afternoon, but as of this morning, we've had 2,008 responses.
2008.
I don't know that those are 2,008 people, but because there was nothing in there to say you couldn't make multiple responses. So I really don't know an unduplicated count. And as of this morning, 1,444 people, or 72.8% of the 2,008 responses, would like to change the name to Skyline Middle School. 27.2% would like to keep it as Warren County Middle School. And the second question, if the Warren County Middle School name was retained for the Luray Avenue facility, what would the new middle school be named? And the first place response is Happy Creek Middle School, followed by Mountain View Middle School, then Twin Rivers, and then Royal Oak. I have a copy of printout that Tim had done for me, so if you take one and pass it down. Again, this information is just for tonight. There's nothing on the agenda for you to actually make a decision. I would hope that you would make the decision maybe at your second June meeting if you can. I think they're enough for the press as well. I'll be happy to answer any questions about the survey, if you have any at this point. I think it's pretty clear what it says.
Stated deadline, it was
Well, you had said you wanted it out for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And we were able to get it out on that Monday.
Okay.
So really Monday would be the...
Technically, next Monday
Monday
just
would be the day that it would be shut down.
Okay, thank you.
And then the only other thing I have is, this is my last televised meeting, and again, it has been my honor to serve as your superintendent. I think at least, hopefully the people seated up here know how I feel about the system and how I feel about you all as board members. I'm so happy to have worked with the Warren County School Board for 14 years and as superintendent. I know that, as I said earlier this evening, you'll be in good hands with Greg being superintendent. I'm going to miss everyone. I told someone the other day that probably the saddest part for me is going to be when I hand those keys to Greg as I leave. And maybe I'll just give him a set of keys and he won't know which ones they are. So maybe I'll just keep them and nobody will know the difference.
Do that, let it just fumble around for a few weeks.
It's like, oh well. He already has keys, so he doesn't need mine to get in anything, so that's good. But again, I'm not going to sit here this evening and say lots of things. I think, but I do want you to know that I have certainly appreciated it. I'm going to miss everybody. I know where you live. I may show up on your doorstep one day. You never know. I hope to continue to be able to interact with you and see you in maybe some social settings, and I look forward to that. And as Greg also said, I'll probably see most of you or all of you at an event next week that may or may not take place.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take.
That Doug Stanley may or may not be involved in. So I thank you very much.
Thank you. And you can always attend the school board meetings and give a retirement report instead of the superintendent's report. So, thank you.
Maybe not. Thank you.
School board reports. Mr. Williams.
I have nothing to report, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Rosen?
Two things. Number one, thank you, Pam, for all of your dedication and service to our community and the school system. And I'm sure it goes far and wide. You've touched everybody.
Thank you.
Second thing, I'd like to let you all know that as I promised when I was appointed to the school board, that I would run for school board. So I'm officially announcing that I am running for school board to represent Shenandoah District in the November 3rd election.
That means you got all of your signatures and they were all verified?
Oh, yeah, I squeaked by like I did in college. Yeah, I mean, I got there.
Okay, good. Thank you. Mr. Wells?
Just a couple of things. Mr. Follett, if you talk to Ms. Shepherd, I'm sure she could clue you in on the calling system, and as far as reaching out to parents, letters sometimes don't make it past the airplane stage, even at the high school level. And we had a small ceremony earlier for the retirees, and just want to thank every one of them for their years of service and the service they gave to our students. There are a lot of successful students out there because those people put in a lot of hours and a lot of their own time, and in some cases money, to see to it that they succeeded. So we always appreciate those. And then the final thing is, Ms. McGinnis, it's been my honor to serve as the school board representative from your district my entire time. So I do have caller ID, but you can call anytime and complain as a citizen if you like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're also funny.
I would also like to congratulate all the retirees. I know that it's a mixed blessing. You know, it's difficult to leave, especially a wonderful division like ours, but I think that everyone will be fine and make the transition and hopefully enjoy a healthy and happy retirement. This morning we had a Mountain Vista Governor School Governing Board meeting, and I said a few words about Pam McGinnis. She is the only superintendent on that governing board who was there at the inception when we planned and created Mountain Vista Governor's School. She's the only original one there, and her absence will be felt. I am confident that Mr. Drescher is going to be a real asset to the governing board. But I have been in public education for a very long time, and I've worked closely with about 6 superintendents, but by far Pam is the only one who stands out for me because of her integrity, because she always puts children first, and it has been my distinct honor to work with her for 12 years. In all honesty, the last 12 years are probably the most rewarding of my years in education. I spent 29 somewhere else in public education, but nothing's been as rewarding as being part of this public school division, and a lot of that has to do with Pam, so I will miss her very greatly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would also like to say it's been a pleasure working with you. I know you're going to enjoy retirement. We're going to miss you, but well, like I said earlier, you're welcome to come back and sit in on the meetings. I attended both Warren County and Skyline High School graduations and enjoyed both of those ceremonies, and we do have a fine bunch of kids, a lot of amazing kids coming out of high school. And also attended the baccalaureate service, which was very, very nice, and Mr. Keller's recent retirement dinner Monday evening, and that was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to another retirement dinner that may or may not happen.
Maybe it's coming, we're not real sure.
Right. Okay. Action agenda, presentations by staff. Award contract for online learning software. Mr. Drescher.
For the past several years, we've utilized Apex as the state-approved online provider for our online courses. And the Apex contract for their learning comprehensive courses has come up for renewal for 2015-16, and this year's contract price is $17,212.50. This program provides virtual learning classes for students at both Diversified Minds and Brighter Future alternative programs. It also provides online classes for homebound students as well as students at both high schools who, due to scheduling conflicts or course offerings, are unable to participate in an on-campus class. We utilize this. I think we get about 135 seats. As long as the student's involved in a class, we can't use that seat, but as soon as they're finished with it, we can use that seat for another student. So far more than 135 students are impacted by this. And as we all know, the world of high school education especially is certainly changing and making online a viable option for many courses. And this is the provider that we've selected. It's been doing a good job for us. There are a number of others that we have looked at, and the state has, I believe it's 11 different online providers that we can choose. So, but we do need to do a contract on an annual basis with this group.
Now, I understand the homebound students, but the Diversified Minds and Brighter Future students, are they able to access this information in the classes at home as
Both.
well as?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Both places, yep. That's the beauty of something like this, is that for some of our students that regular school doesn't work well, they may be able to spend a few hours working on it at school, but then they have some kids, for some reason, can work at 1:30 in the morning, and this allows them to do that.
Okay.
You said there were other providers out there, but obviously you must have a very good working relationship with Apex, and
do.
you feel like you've compared them
Yep.
with other companies, and they're the ones.
Yeah, they're the ones. There are other good ones too. I think some of it's based on price and the programs and
Right.
courses that they have that we need.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Good.
Any other questions? Is there a motion?
Madam Chairman, I would move that the contract in the amount of $17,212.50 be approved.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drescher. Award service contracts. Mr. Riley.
Good evening. As you're aware, each year we have service contracts that we award or approve for various services, propane, fuel oil, elevator service, stuff of that nature. And it's a one-year contract that gets renewed each year, up to 5 renewals. This year was a bid year. We couldn't renew the existing contract, so we had to go out to bid. And you have the results of the bids before you. And we're here to award the bids to the successful bidders this evening. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you folks might have.
Normally, when you present this, we don't have 4 new vendors, do we?
We actually have 5 this time.
5? No, I'm saying, okay, I don't know where the 5th, I see 4.
Yep.
But the point is, we normally don't have that kind of turnover, do we?
Now, this is,
Yeah.
in 15 years, this is the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
Why such a turnaround, Mr. Riley?
People are hungry, I guess, and sharpen their pencils, and we got better bids. Overall, I'd say we're, expenditure-wise, we're probably 20 to 30,000 to the better this year in service contracts. If you notice, we did pull one service contract from the bid this evening. We were presented with some information that may lead to a different result of the bid. And, to be fair and to make sure that we give everyone, same opportunity, we're going to review that bid again. We're actually going to have our attorney review it with the information we received and make sure that, we're above board and, beyond reproach with our bids, and everybody's happy and they feel satisfied that they were serviced, well with through our division, our bid process. So that's why that one has been pulled, and probably it'll be on the agenda for the next school board meeting to be approved,
Okay.
because we have to have a contract in place July the 1st, or we will not have trash service. That could get hectic.
Okay, thank you.
I'd be happy to answer any other questions that you have.
Any questions for Mr. Riley?
Okay. I move that the service contracts be approved as submitted for the 2015-2016 school year beginning July 1st, 2015 and ending June 30th, 2016 for the following vendors. Elevator Service Landmark Elevator Incorporated, that's a new vendor. Pest Control Lee's Pest Services LLC, that's a new vendor. School Auto Bells Standard Electric Time, HVAC Controls, Mid-Atlantic Controls, LP Gas, Holtzman Propane Incorporated, that's a new vendor. Security Monitoring, MC Dean Incorporated, that's a new vendor. Number 2, Heating Oil, HN Funkhauser and Company.
Second.
All those in favor, aye? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Rowley.
Well, before I leave, I'd like to also thank Ms. McGinnis for being my mentor during my tenure here with her. She's had a very profound impact on my life and my career here, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you. You know where I live.
Approval of February 2015 VSBA policy updates. Mr. Ballantyne.
Good evening. In February of 2015, the Virginia School Boards Association Policy Services, which we subscribe to, submitted 25 policies and 2 regulations for consideration by you. A chart showing all the updated policies and recommendations prepared by staff is enclosed. An additional 3 policies are presented for review but have no recommended revisions. Copies of certain Warren County school policy files that outline the process and requirements for updating the policy manual are also attached in your packet. The policies were presented on a first reading at our May 14th meeting and then discussed at your May 28th work session and are now recommended for approval this evening at this meeting on their second reading. You may recall back at the work session there was a question about policy file FFA, the naming of school facilities, and that has been updated in this packet in red line version to reflect the discussions regarding it at that meeting. So I think we've got that the way that it should be with the questions that were raised then. So if there are any questions, we'll be glad to answer those, and if not, we would respectfully request your approval of these policy changes so that they may be included in our policy manual.
I move that the February 2015 VSBA policy updates as reviewed and recommended by staff be approved for inclusion in the Warren County Public Schools Policy Manual.
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
I heard, yes, I did.
Okay. Motion carries. Thank you. Award contract for purchase of used replacement vehicles.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
The Transportation Department has money currently in its budget to purchase a couple of replacement vehicles. They would like to be able to replace a truck for the shop foreman, the transportation shop foreman. I think he's been driving the same truck for about 15 or more years. And, he's one of those individuals that rides the roads when the weather's bad. So he needs something that's reliable. And they would also like to purchase 2 fleet cars. At this point in time, because they always buy used vehicles, he has to see what's available within the next 2 weeks to purchase, and of course won't purchase anything if the right vehicles aren't available. But what he is asking is that he be allowed to spend up to $60,000 at G&M Auto Sales to purchase a truck and 2 fleet cars. And the fleet cars are actually they may be vehicles that are more like van-like vehicles for staff to go to conferences. We cannot, of course, transport students in anything like a minivan. We're not allowed to do that. But I think these will be more like the Suburbans, but not quite as large as that, but pretty much staff going to conferences and other places would be using those 2 cars.
Up top, it says we are currently in need of a new truck for the shop foreman. By
Well, new
doesn't mean brand new,
no.
right?
He should have said another or different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's new compared to what he has.
Yeah. Is it possible to put the shop foreman truck and 2 fleet cars in the motion? I mean, we're
Yeah.
just saying 60,000. It doesn't say how many. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure we
I think
don't
that
get,
is
one
good.
car and 1 truck for 60,000.
Right,
So we can do that?
yes,
And we typically deal with G&M Auto Sales?
pretty much,
That's-
yes.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Let me see if I can figure this out. I move that a contract not to exceed $60,000 be awarded to G&M Auto Sales for the purchase of a used truck for the shop foreman and 2 fleet cars.
There you go.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval to donate vehicle to Warren County Parks and Recreation Department. Mrs. Shepherd.
Good evening. The Warren County, this kind of tailbacks on Pam's presentation just now. The Warren County School Transportation Department would like to donate a 2005 Ford 500 to the Warren County Parks and Rec Department. This vehicle has over 200,000 miles and is not suitable to transport students or staff. The Warren County Parks and Rec Department has indicated that they would be able to find a use for the vehicle. I move approval be given to donate this car to the Parks and Recreation Department.
This is probably the truck that he has.
No, this is a car.
Oh, it's a car.
Yeah, and that's
Okay,
one of
right,
the
okay.
fleet vehicles, yes.
Sorry. And we've donated cars to the county before, whether it be Parks and Rec or just one of the county cars. And of course, many years ago, we were in receipt of a number of sheriff's office vehicles that were obviously sheriff's office vehicles that we transported kids in, but
Well, we take care of them.
Pardon me?
We take care of all the vehicles
We do?
now, so
Yes.
Yeah.
we know whether we're giving them a good, fairly decent vehicle or not. I move approval be given to donate a 2005 Ford 500 to the Warren County Parks and Recreation Department.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mrs. Shepherd. Presentations by superintendent.
I don't have any tonight.
And discussions by school board, potential June 25th agenda items will be the naming of the new middle school. Any other business?
That meeting will also be the closeout meeting for budget, because we have to close out our budget by June 30th every year, and this will be the final closeout of the 2014-15 budget.
Okay. Being no other business, we need to go into closed session. Is there a motion?
This motion is made that this open public meeting of the Warren County School Board become a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711. The school board desires to discuss the following matters in a closed meeting. Section 2.2-3711A2, discussion or consideration of admission or disciplinary matters or any other matters that would involve the disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning any student in Warren County Public Schools, specifically the request from a family for release from compulsory attendance pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.1-254B. And Section 2.2-3711A1, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of an employee of the school board. Be it resolved that the School Board of Warren County does hereby authorize discussion in closed meeting of the matters identified herein.
Second.
Mr. Ballantyne, could you please call roll?
Mrs. Sharefko?
Yes.
Mr. Rosen?
Yes.
Mr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Madam Chairman?
Yes. Motion carries.